welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys how I do a foilayage slash balayage retouch on a blonde client. Definitely stay tuned to watch this video. I know you're going to love it. YouTube channel. So this is a really great technique that I use all the time in the salon, and I think that it'll be super helpful for you. So if you guys struggle with even doing just retouches of a balayage or foilayage technique, definitely stay tuned to watch this video. I know you're gonna love it. So this is our before canvas. You guys can see she still has a ton of brightness in there, but it's time to do a little refresh, a little touch up. We're gonna bring her brightness up and just kind of brighten everything up for summer. So this is gonna be a really great technique for those of you guys who are looking to bring up balayages without a ton of work and to maintain the integrity of their hair. So let's get started. All right, so for her, we mixed up Wella Blondor with 30 volume, and I added in some Olaplex to maintain the integrity of her hair. So let's go get started. We're gonna be using foils today and all of that for our foilayage. I also use the Goldwell Dual Senses Color Detangling Conditioner to act as our blending agent. So you guys will see me use this, but this is the one that I love. I love a lightweight conditioner, and you guys can get this at Cosmoprof or from Goldwell itself. Alright, so we sectioned out her hair. I just sectioned the front from the back and then her natural part. And we're gonna start in this back section on the bottom, and then we will work our way to the front. So our first section I always do around the hairline so that when she wears her hair back, she's gonna get a lot of this lightness and brightness. So because she already has kind of a light piece here, I'm just gonna weave that guy out. But first we will weave the hair, and then I am gonna tease it a little bit. Now her hair gets super tangly, so we're just gonna barely kind of loosely tease it, not anything super tight. And then I'm gonna take my foil and I'm going to go in with my lightweight conditioner kind of at the root. Now the nice thing about adding a conditioner at the root is not only is it now keeping my foil from slipping, we're gonna blend the lightener into this, but it's also gonna help detangle a lot of that little teasing that we just applied in there. So I'm gonna go in with my lightener and just start to work my way up through the hair. Now, she already has these brightness ends, so we're not gonna run the lightener all the way through. We're just gonna kind of feather it through those ends because they're already bright, we don't need to. But I'm just gonna blend the lightener up into that conditioner. And this is just a really easy technique for doing a retouch. And it keeps it really clean, really nice, and we're gonna get tons and tons of brightness. Even though she's not very dark, I still feel like I get a lot more control with this technique over just doing a regular balayage technique. So now I'm gonna place a foil just right on top, and I love these rose gold foils from Framar. We're just gonna lock it in place like this, and fold down that corner. So I'm gonna do our next section. We're gonna do just right about here. I do another about 1/2 inch section. And again, this is just kind of backing those lighter pieces up so that when she wears her hair up, you guys can see she's got a lot of depth back through here, so we wanna just brighten it up. All right, so now that we've finished these two pieces, I'm gonna do the same on the other side, and then we will work our way up to a little bit higher up the head. So now we've done our two back-to-back around the hairline, and now I just did a straight across section, and I'm gonna weave this guy. You guys can see she's getting a little bit more brightness because the last time she had her hair done, she had some more brightness through here. So again, we're gonna tease it, but again, just kind of lightly teasing it, and then we'll apply our foil and do the exact same thing. So I'm literally just using the same technique just across, like all the way up the head. I'm doing 2 diagonal backs to 1 straight across, and this is gonna break up the pattern so that she doesn't have just too much lightness in one area and to create less of a line. And then you guys can see I'm just kind of feathering it down through a lot of these darker pieces. Her ends have gotten a little bit darker just over time, you know, being in the sun and in a pool and just hard water and all that kind of stuff. So we're just kind of feathering it through that area down there. And then we're gonna go back through now and up here, feather it up into that conditioner. And this just really creates a lot of brightness. Now, a lot of people ask me with this conditioner, is it going to create warmth through here? And it's gonna create a little bit of warmth, but no more warmth than it would create with a balayage where you would just be feathering it up into it. I feel like this method allows me to have a lot more control. It does create a better blend, and I don't have any issues with the warmth unless it's like a client who's like maybe a level 3 or you know, really dark, or they just pull really warm, or if they have like existing color on their hair. So sometimes you gotta just be careful about it, but experiment, see what works. And sometimes I'll use a blue-based lightener to kind of break through that in that situation. So now we'll just place our little foil on top. And again, these foils are from Framar. The long ones that I'm using on the bottom are the roll foils, and it's in their rosé all day. And then these ones are just the pop-up foils that we got for the top. But you guys, look how beautiful this is gonna look with her whole head done. So now we're gonna continue up the head, and I'm gonna do more 2 diagonal back sections, kind of right in here. Right here, and again, you guys, I'm breaking up that pattern so you guys can see I'm kind of doing like triangular up through here, and then we'll go through and do another one and then straight across. All right, so now we've worked our way up until this small little triangular section. Now I could do 2 sections here if I wanted to, if she wanted to be like crazy, crazy blonde, but I actually want to leave a little bit of depth. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to weave this section, kind of a deeper weave, kind of like this, and then we're gonna tease it. So this is gonna be our top kind of veil piece that lives over the rest of the hair, but I still wanna maintain some of that depth. And that's the only reason why I would do this, is because she already has lightness through here. If she didn't have that lightness to the ends, I would go through and do 2 sections there, but because she already has kind of that lightness, we can go ahead and do that. So I'm just gonna kind of lightly tease again, kind of right in there. Use our foil. And this piece is the most important one because you want to make sure that it's staying really bright but also really blended. So we'll apply our conditioner and then go through and apply our lightener. Now you can see when I'm applying my lightener, I always start a little bit lower than kind of right in here because I want to go back through and blend that up. So I always kind of start in the mid-shaft area, make sure to get it really, really saturated, work my way through the ends, and then I'll go back up and blend it out last because I want to make sure that I'm putting a lot of special attention to blending it out. Now she has some of these like kind of darker ends, kind of just whatever. So I'm kind of just feathering it through. I'm not like fully saturating this hair. I'm just kind of brightening it up a little bit, kind of just adding a tiny bit of lightener, but not like fully saturating it all the way through. Okay, so now I'm gonna grab a little bit more product and I'm gonna go through and blend this up into there. Like I said, this is the most important piece because this is gonna be the veil piece that hangs over the rest of her hair. So we wanna make sure that it's really blended. And then this is always the section that I go back and check after we've done our final foils. I'll go back through and just make sure that this piece is really blended. But you guys can see I'm just kind of pulling it down through there. Again, making sure that it is saturated, but just kind of lightly pulling it through. And then sometimes what I'll do is I'll take a dry brush, a clean dry brush, and I'll just kind of blend out any lines or pieces that could potentially be a spot and just kind of blend that through. And then I'll just go through and apply our foil over the top of it and incubate it. So that's kind of how I do that top piece. Now we're gonna move around to the front. So now we've gotten to the front of her hairline and we want to make sure that we're adding kind of a money piece, and that way so when she wears her hair back she'll see this brightness right around here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take kind of a section about 3/4 of an inch to an inch away from her hairline. She's got finer hair, so we don't need to go super far back. We don't want the money piece to be like this thick, right? You want to make sure that it just stays kind of that money piece right in the front. And again, every client's hairline is going to be a little bit different, so we're customizing it to each client just based off of their density, based off the kind of hair they have, all of that. So I'm going to clip this out, and you guys can see now I kind of have my little money piece area. And I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna create almost like a highlight type section. It's about there. And then I'm gonna weave it out. And then I use one of my shorter foils in here. And use my conditioner right here, just kind of at the root area. And I drag it about, inch or so down. And I'll apply my lightener. Now these pieces already have some brightness to them, so again, we're just kind of touching up that root area, pulling it through. These are gonna be finer pieces, so we wanna make sure that we're not like over saturating or over processing those. And then I'm gonna go back in and blend this through up into our conditioner. And at this point, you guys can see my brush has like barely any product on it. Sometimes I'll just grab a little bit more product and just kind of go through and do this like blending section. I don't want to take globs of product and blend them up into the conditioner because then you're going to get spots right there. So I'll just take a tiny bit. Sometimes I even like brush it off like that. Almost like when you're painting your nails with nail polish, you're going to clean off that brush before you go and apply it around the cuticle. This is kind of the same idea. And we're going to take this foil, I'm going to fold it into thirds. We don't want to have those ends all saturated. And then I just kind of lock it in place here. And then I'll clip this back. And I'm going to continue and do this with 3 more pieces. Alright, so now we've gotten up to kind of her hairline area, and you guys can see this is a really fine area, really fine section, but that's the whole point. We don't want it to be this like gnarly highlight growing back. So we're going to keep it really nice and fine, almost like a baby light area up here. And this piece is going to be the closest to the root area because this is the one that's like right around where she's going to pull her hair back. So just a tiny bit of conditioner there. And because it's such a lightweight piece and a baby light kind of piece, it's gonna blend really nicely. That's why we don't tease these pieces. They don't need to be teased just because it already is kind of like a baby light and we're using that conditioner to blend up into it. And fold it in half. Another reason why I love these pop-up pink foils is look how clean they look. They make your work look so clean and good without even having to dry. So then I'll go through and clean up these little hairs around my client's face so that she's not sitting there with all these little hairs in her face because that's just annoying. And then we're gonna leave these foils down like this. And I always kind of part where she naturally parts her hair. And now we'll continue on to the sides. All right, so now we are around the hairline. I've already done the other side, but what we're gonna do is I'm gonna do kind of like a little diagonal back section. And these pieces also are gonna be pretty fine, kind of like our baby lights that we did around the front here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna weave it out. And then I'm gonna use one of the pop-up foils. And if you guys notice, I'm always making sure to apply the color on the silver side, not on the pink side. A, because it looks really cool to have the rose gold foils, but just in case there was any chemical reaction with anything, I want to make sure that the pink dyes in the foils aren't going to affect our color or anything like that. So just to be on the safe side, you never know. So we're gonna apply the conditioner right there. And you guys see how fine this piece is. It's not very thick at all. And just kind of feather it up into there. And this is gonna be our, again, piece that is our baby light right around the front of her face. But I am still keeping it off the roots, and that's why we use that conditioner. Another reason why I like the conditioner is because it does help lock that foil into place and it keeps it a little bit cleaner and easier for me to apply my lightener. I'm gonna take my clean brush because there is one spot right there, fold it in thirds, and then we'll lock it into place. And then we're gonna go and do kind of another diagonal back section, about another ½ an inch wide. And she's pretty fine hair, you guys, so we don't have to do crazy amounts, but you guys can see too that these were the pieces that were left out in between her highlights. If she wanted a really strong money piece, we could totally lighten those and add those in our foil. So sometimes I will, it just depends. But it totally just depends on like what the client's wanting and what the look that we're going for. So I'm gonna leave them out this time. But I am gonna make sure to get these little pieces right in here because again, this is part of her hairline, and when she wears it back, I want it still to be nice and bright. I'm seeing some pieces that could potentially cause a line, so I'm just gonna clean it up with my dry brush here to make sure that we got it nice and smooth there. Apply our foil and lock it into place. So now I'm just gonna continue working up the head and just keep going diagonal backs until we get to this top corner. All right, so we've finished both sides and I've kind of come to these 2 diagonal triangles that are in the back section. And so I could do a smaller, triangle and have it go like this, but what I really like to do is I like to just take these and evenly kind of just do a little straight across piece and then use this to weave out. So this is creating another bit, just kind of breaking up those patterns again, right? So we'll tease this just a little bit, and this is always kind of the last piece that I finish with. We'll go in and apply our foil, and do it the same as what we've been doing for all of them. So now that I finished this piece, I'm gonna actually bring that forward and I'm gonna check. Remember how I said that this was the piece that I always check on? So I'm just gonna check and see how it's kind of lifting up. You guys can see that it's already lifting really beautifully. And sometimes I'll just go back in and reapply our lightener kind of to the blended area just to make sure that it's blending really, really good. But you guys can already see we're getting some good brightness in there, and it's only been on for maybe about 20 minutes or so. So we'll reapply that foil, we'll let this one kind of hang back down, and we're gonna let her process. Sometimes I'll put my clients under the heat, sometimes I don't, but I usually like to start with just letting it air process, and then we'll go through and do it under the heat if we need to. Alright, so we just rinsed out all her foils after she had processed, and now we just applied Olaplex number 2. This is going to help kind of remove a lot of that teasing that we did. Her hair gets really tangly, like I said earlier, so this is just going to help kind of get rid of that and also help to keep it nice and healthy. But look at all that beautiful blonde we got in there. We are going to tone her hair just slightly, but it already looks so good. So we'll let this process for a few minutes and I'm going to go mix up her toner. Alright, so for her toner, we're going to mix up 9P, 9N, half of that, so equal parts of these, and then the other half of the formula, clear. I love Shade ZQ. This is one of my go-to formulas. So I'm going to do basically half an ounce of 9N, half an ounce of 9P, and then 1 ounce of clear, and then 2 ounces of developer. So 4 ounces total. The reason why I do half the formula clear and half the formula actual color is because I don't want it to get too dark. If we just did just level 9, it would probably be a little bit too dark. So this is one of my go-to formulas and I love using it. Alright, so I'm going to towel dry her hair. We just rinsed out the Olaplex number 2. I'm going to towel dry it and then we're going to apply her toner starting in the bottom and then we'll work our way up. Alright, so you guys can see that we have a little bit of warmth through here, kind of like this midsection area, and then her ends are still really light. So what I'm going to do is I'm not even going to apply toner to her ends. I'm just going to apply it more to like this midsection, and we don't want to like muddy up the ends or make them too dark. So it's more just like on the areas that are kind of warm. We're just going to apply it there, and then we'll eventually kind of pull it through those ends a little bit, but more towards the end. Alright, so this toner has been sitting on for about maybe 8 minutes or so, so I think it's about ready. There's still some warmth in there. We don't want to get rid of all of her warmth, but it just kind of gets rid of a lot of that like brassy tones and kind of makes it more that like creamy blonde color. So you guys can see how beautiful it looks. So we're going to rinse it out and shampoo and condition like normal. So you guys can see this beautiful balayage underneath, how beautiful it looks underneath on her hairline. So when she wears her hair up, she's got that beautiful blonde color there. Alright, here is our final result. It's so gorgeous and beautiful. Beautiful blonde tones. I love the blend we were able to get, and you guys can see how such an easy technique this is for touching up a balayage with our foilayage technique. I love it. It gets so much brightness and it allows me to remain so much control. Alright guys, thanks for watching my YouTube video. I hope that it was helpful for you. If you like this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button below. I'm going to be doing tons of videos like this, and check out my other foilayage and balayage videos. They're super helpful and a lot of people have been getting amazing results from them. So if you liked what we did today, make sure to say hi over on Instagram. I love hearing how you guys are loving these techniques, and I think it's just a really fun way to connect. So send me a DM, send me a comment. I'd love to meet you. And again, don't forget to subscribe. Well, thanks for watching this video, and I'll see you guys next time.